We had a fantastic week number 1 to the NFL season. We started off in the green, and that's always a good feeling. We're going to talk about those sleepers, those guys that are under $5,500 that you should look at to put into your lineup if you're looking to save a buck. We did pretty well. Matter of fact, we smashed a couple of these plays in week 1, so I appreciate you coming back for week number 2. Let's get into it.
This is Allaqcess, your home for fantasy sports talk.
Now, we try and roll through things pretty quickly here because I know you got a lot to do, man. We got busy lives. These are our wins and our losses because we are always transparent. Last week, specifically in the sleeper video, we told you our goal is to get 4 times points per $1,000 spent. Michael Pittman Jr., he was on a lot of people's radar. I'm not taking full credit for that one. 30 points is what he put up. That's 6 times his value. Other people that we were really high on, Christian Kirk, Jahan Dotson, Gerald Everett, and Jameis Winston all hit 4X. And then we did have 3 misses, but we told you we were probably going to stay away from 2 of them. And then Mike Davis. That running back room for the Baltimore Ravens was just not good week 1. Shout out to the Devin Duvernay takers. And then Nico Collins was our other miss. Again, these are just specifically the guys that we mentioned in our sleepers video. To see how we did in our studs and stacks, where we told you Justin Jefferson was our number 1 play of the week, you'll have to check out that video on the channel. That one's usually going to drop on Thursday mornings because we need more time to do research if we're going to be spending that much money. Also, y'all, we didn't have a winner last week, okay? We try and put as many contests as we can for y'all to win a Millionaire Maker ticket, and no one won. So pay attention to the end of this video so you can find out how you can possibly win your next Millionaire Maker ticket, courtesy of Allaqcess. Full information and details down in the description below, but pay attention to the end of the video. Regardless, let's get into this week's NFL Week 2 sleepers, the players under $5,500 that you need to get into your lineup or at least pay attention to. Now, these first few plays are probably going to be a little bit obvious to the real fans. You're doing your research. You know what you're doing. You're looking into things. You're talking to content creators. You're reading reports. You're doing exactly what you need to do. I'm just like you. I want to take down the guys that are entering 150 lineups. I'm putting in 1 to 2, maybe 3 lineups each and every week. I love those single entry. I love the 3 max entry, and I love double ups. That's kind of where I live, and then every once in a while, I'll throw something in the Millionaire Maker if I really like it. So if you've been doing your research, you know Eli Mitchell probably going to be missing a few weeks, so Jeff Wilson Jr. at $5,100 against Seattle, who we have yet to see play by the time I'm recording this, but for you probably already saw him play on Monday night. He's going to have a heavy workload. That 49ers offense relies on a running game. Jeff Wilson Jr. against what I anticipate being a not very good Seattle team could have a big game. Again, 4 times his value at $5,100, a 20-point game, which is 75 yards, a couple catches, and a touchdown. Not out of the realm of possibility. Next thing up, Michael Carter at $5,200. We've been saying his name all year. Pay attention to the TikToks, the tweets, the Facebook posts that we have. Go back and look at our late round sleepers in our best ball tournaments. We told you Michael Carter at the beginning of the year was still going to be that guy. Breece Hall, more talented. For now, without Zach Wilson, Michael Carter is going to continue to be the lead back. He's going up against the Cleveland Browns, who have an elite defense. Their front 7 are extremely good. They're extremely active. We saw them shut down Christian McCaffrey last week. But the best way to combat a good defensive front is to have a strong running game and to pass the ball out of the backfield. If you look at the touches that he, as well as Breece Hall, got in week 1, I think they're going to try and do the same thing. That is short, compact routes for Joe Flacco, especially against a very fast pass rush. More touches means more opportunities, and more opportunities means the more likely he is to get points. You can really go either back here. I think he only outpaced Breece Hall by maybe 2 touches, so it was very neck and neck. They're only separated by $1,000 on this week's slate. Currently, I'm leaning Michael Carter. Doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to be putting him into my lineup at this point. Again, if you do want to see who I'm putting into my lineup, I do that for those people in Patreon, as well as we usually talk about it on Twitter and Facebook. But for those that want to go above and beyond in support of the channel, I greatly appreciate it. And I just want to give that little bit back to you. Another running back is Rex Burkhead at $4,900. I know, Dameon Pierce fans, I'm sorry. Going up against Denver, who we haven't seen yet, I'm assuming this Denver team is going to be very, very good with Russell Wilson. He was second in targets week 1 behind Brandon Cooks. And I think they're going to be trailing Denver a lot. So there's not going to be a lot of Davis Mills just handing the ball off. It's going to be him looking for targets. Now another running back is Eno Benjamin at $4,200 and might be my favorite value running back thus far. He got 7 touches in week 1. Yes, he is firmly behind James Conner in red zone activity, but they're probably going to be passing the ball a lot. This Las Vegas Raiders defense is not nearly as good as the Kansas City revamped defense under Steve Spagnuolo, so I think there's going to be more opportunities to actually move the ball down the field. Now, if Rondale Moore is out again, that leaves you with A.J. Green, Hollywood Brown, and Zach Ertz. After that, you have Greg Dortch, who we might get into in just a second, but Eno Benjamin is that guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield. I expect him to get involved early and often, but as the week rolls on and those injury reports start to come out, we need to pay more attention to it. Here's a name that you heard a lot about, probably because you didn't hear a lot about him. Allen Robinson at $5,500 going up against the Atlanta Falcons. I've talked about it week in and week out. The Atlanta Falcons didn't look bad defensively week 1, but they're still not very good. They're definitely not as good as the Buffalo Bills defense. Allen Robinson at $5,500 is an absolute bargain. If you go back and look at the tape, Matthew Stafford was just so laser focused on Cooper Kupp because he was nervous that he was going to get his absolute neck snapped by the Buffalo pressure. Now he doesn't face as big as of a pass rush, and he's going to have time to kind of check on different routes. Tyler Higbee got 11 targets last week. Some of those are going to fall the way of Allen Robinson. If you go back and watch the tape, Matthew, you'll see just how wide open he was on a number of routes. I expect Allen Robinson to get a touchdown in this one, and I'm all in on him at $5,500 right now. Next up, Tyler Boyd. Although this one does depend a little bit on the T. Higgins injury. He has a concussion, I believe. So hopefully a quick recovery for him. Obviously, if T. Higgins is in the game and he's ready to go, I'll definitely be falling off of this one. But going up against Dallas, who's not a great defense, but I assume Trayvon Diggs is going to be matched up against Jamar Chase. That's going to leave T. Higgins and Hayden Hurst to make some crucial catches, maybe even Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine out of the backfield. Also, let it be known, Cooper Rush is going to be starting for Dallas. I don't know how many drives they're going to be able to sustain, which means more opportunities and more offensive drives for the Cincinnati Bengals. If he's ready to go in a pass-heavy offense with Joe Burrow wanting to throw the ball 40 times, 45 times, I'm all in on Tyler Boyd. This is one that's probably going to catch a couple people off guard. DJ Chark at $5,100 against the Washington Commanders. He's not a name you definitely heard week 1 because DeAndre Swift went absolutely bonkers. Again, if you're on Patreon, you probably already knew that. You heard about DeAndre Swift. You saw Jamal Williams got the touchdown, but you didn't hear about DJ Chark getting 8 targets week 1. Now, you go up against the Commanders team that gave up 21 targets to Zay Jones and Christian Kirk combined. When I say that I thought the Lions were one of the most improved teams in the league, I definitely think they have a chance against this Commanders defense. I look for DeAndre Swift to be pretty good. I think they kind of load the box and force Jared Goff to beat him. Give me DJ Chark, give me Amon-Ra, and TJ Hawkinson to make some big plays. On the flip side, a lot of people will be on this one. I'm fading. Let it be known, a lot of people will be on it. Bradley is fading. Jahan Dotson at $4,200. People are going to see the stat sheet and go, my God, that boy put up numbers. He had 2 touchdowns on 5 targets and 3 receptions. That volume is not there. That is not sustainable. I think Logan Thomas, the tight end, is going to steal some of those. Curtis Samuel came out of nowhere. As a former Carolina Panthers fan, came out of nowhere for this offense to produce this last week. I don't think Jahan Dotson can keep up the production level that he did in week 1. That's not to say he's not going to have a good game. He could still put up a 10, 12-point game, and I wouldn't be shocked at all. But that's not going to hit that 4 times points per $1,000. I don't see him getting a 16 to 24-point game again against Detroit Lions. Yes, even though the Detroit Lions defense is not very good, I think other weapons will capitalize week 2. And here we go. Greg Dortch at $3,500 against the Las Vegas Raiders. Week 1, he had 7 receptions on 9 targets against Kansas City. Now, they're a little soft on the depth chart right now because Rondale Moore was out. Obviously, DeAndre Hopkins isn't there. But when it came to quick routes and Kyler Murray needing to find someone, he was looking the way of Greg Dortch. A.J. Green was down the field trying to jump up for balls. Hollywood Brown was on routes down the field trying to make the big splash plays. Greg Dortch was just in the comfort zone. I talked about Eno Benjamin. If he's not on the field and Greg Dortch is, I expect a couple passes to go his way. This Las Vegas Raiders offense can score points. The Cardinals will also need to score points. Game script writes into a lot of passes being thrown into this one. He is low on the pecking order, but at $3,500, if you are in absolute desperation mode for a wide receiver, it might be worth a gamble or two. especially for those of you that are entering the 20 to 25, 30 lineups. Maybe sprinkle him in. Me being a little bit more conservative, where I want the high floor. I want a high ceiling, but I definitely want a high floor for consistent play because of my 50-50 and double ups that I like to put into. I'm probably not going to put him in my lineup. Now a couple of tight ends, because I know you love tight ends. We absolutely smashed it last week with Gerald Everett. Here's two guys that can crush the slate for you. Logan Thomas. I was curious as to how he was going to look week 1 with Carson Wentz, and he looks more than good. Going up against Detroit that struggled against defensive coverage against the tight ends. He had 6 targets week 1, and the Washington Commanders threw it a lot more than I anticipated. Logan Thomas at $3,400 might be worth a look. Not my favorite tight end on the slate, but definitely worth a look if you're trying to save $1. Y'all were really going to let me keep this name Tyler Higbee on here. I mean, since you said so. Y'all better recognize, man. Sometimes I just can't spell. That's all it is. Tyler Higbee at $4,200 going up against the Atlanta Falcons. I've already talked about my love for this Los Angeles Rams offense. People are worried about Matthew Stafford's elbow. He says it's fine. I'm going to trust him until I see otherwise. Yes, he was locked onto Cooper Kupp week 1. We all saw it. Cooper Kupp, because he had to get rid of the ball and needed to know exactly where to go. Psst, Tyler Higbee had 11 targets in week 1. Obviously, that kind of production might not be sustainable in this offense when I've also mentioned Allen Robinson will get a couple extra looks. But this is a bad defense that's probably going to give up more points. Definitely going to give up more points than the Buffalo Bills did week 1. Again, you probably don't need most of these because I love to live in that $6,000 range for a wide receiver. But if you're really looking to scrape the bottom of the barrel, looking for a low-owned guy that can help you win those larger tournaments, you might want to look the way of one of these players that we've already mentioned. Lastly, no one won our contest from last week, so we're doing it again. Giving away a Millionaire Maker ticket for one person that can correctly guess and identify who will score the most points on the Week 2 main slate and how many points. Again, if you think Cooper Kupp's going to get 31.6 points, put down in the description, Cooper Kupp, 31. If Kupp is the highest scorer and it's 31.8 points, one person that correctly guesses that is going to win a Millionaire Maker ticket with Allaqcess funding your next entry. I think the closest one we had was Justin Jefferson at 37, maybe 39 points. So they weren't too far off. Congratulations to them. I think we had one at 39 and we had one at 45. So they kind of just hugged that true answer. So put your answer down in the description below, like this video, and subscribe to the channel so that I can at least message you back on here. If we were able to help you in week 1 or you liked any of the information that we did today, please put it down in the comments below. Your words of affirmation help this video immensely. And I just want to help as many people as possible beat those people that are putting in 150 lineups into the Millionaire Maker contest because low-key, I'm slightly jealous. Be on the lookout for our studs and stacks video to come later on. Those are those high-priced guys that are going to be worth paying for into your lineup, as well as stacks that we need to look at, like the Eagles stack from last week, the Vikings stack from last week. For Allaqcess, I'm Bradley. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all down in the description below. We'll be sure to follow you back there. I appreciate you watching. Have a good one.